Hey yo, what's up? Continuing our journey from previous episode, I have left from the crevice. However, before I could carry on moving deeper into the jungle, I had to deal with a single guard followed by an archer that, to be honest, made me happy, as if he wouldn't attack, I wouldn't find out the tome teaching us different sleeping positions? Lol. Anyway, moving on, I found this passage. It was quite lengthy, but didn't really pose any threat. However, at the end of it, there was a little tunnel bored in the tree that led towards these ancient ruins, which are inhabited by Gray Apes and Shoebills. As you can imagine, these don't pose much of a threat at this point in our journey through exiled lands. However, I still have to be careful, as due to my high level, or maybe just the server runtime, I have noticed a higher spawn rate for these greater or corrupted creatures. You may be wondering, why is he running away from a Shoebill? Well, technically it looks like that, but I really wanted to see what sort of damage our follower Aryan will do to the greater Shoebill, and I have to say that the result is not too shabby. Right, moving on, I have spotted yet another Gray Ape. However, even from the distance I could tell that this one is bigger than its brethren, so naturally I have came closer to inspect this specimen, only to see its blue glowing eyes, which tells us that this is a corrupted Gray Ape. Thankfully, Aryan didn't waste a second and just jumped straight into the battle, proving that there is no such thing as fear in their case. Then I have travelled past the Celestial Plaza, straight towards Dagon's embrace. However, as you can see, there were quite a few grey ones roaming around, so they had to be dealt with before I could enjoy exploring this part of the jungle. It is quite pretty in here, I have to say. Definitely among my favourite places to visit in Conan Exiles. This place gives me a genuine Lara Croft Tomb Raider vibe, as in, do any of you guys remember the now infamous Tomb Raider underworld? Yeah, this entire ruin that we are visiting right now reminds me of one of the first missions in TRU. Just have a look. Cool. Now that we have grey ones gone, we can go towards that burning chalice. Hey Conan veterans, is there any lore related to this specific object? Do you have any other lore related stories you could share with us about this entire location? Also, I have noticed this massive sunken ship right in the center of the body of water that is almost fully enclosed by these ancient structures. Come on Aryan, let's have a look. So, what I have found was maybe not much, but still shiny and valuable. Good spot to get few gold and silver bits. Considering we are on the exploration mission, I have climbed back up onto the ruins and have followed the path towards its central compartment, where I have found this open area and wanted to have a better look, which nearly cost me my life and probably 20 minutes of backtracking, but nothing bad happened, so I could enjoy the view. Once I have finished with the sightseeing, I have made my way down below, where I found even larger group of Gray Apes roaming around the area. Now that we are around the Celestial Plaza, I will take greater care, as I might be surprised to find what creatures reside in here. Just like this silverback gorilla, which even though is not much stronger than the regular gorillas living around here, is a perfect example as for the uncertain dangers right around the corner. Now I would like to use this moment to explain the choice of names for thralls in the last episode. I can see across the CE community that Dalincia and Berserkers are among the best thralls you can get. I thought, why not name these thralls after the best helpers I had since the series started, huh? I hope this clarifies it a little. Right, let's move through the suspiciously looking bridge towards wherever this leads to. I can see sort of a door at the end, but let's see if it's going to be possible for us to go through. Palace of the Witch Queen. Sounds familiar, and now I am having flashbacks to old times when I have visited this place for the first time. I think I know what lies behind this door. Yep, we are about to have yet another boss fight. This time, I am not sure if I will stay alive or not. From what I remember, this wasn't the most difficult fight, but hey, it was ages ago and it could have changed. But what better way to check this out than just undertaking the challenge, huh? These are warm creatures, even bigger than the frost giants, which literally made me rethink if that was a great idea, but it is a single skull boss, which should be quite forgiving in the battle. And yes indeed, they weren't as tough as they look like. Our underleveled Aryan fought these Witch Guardians 1v1, and the outcome was quite impressive to say the least. Once the first one has been defeated, the room started emitting green beams that I didn't really want to test how hard they hit. I was thinking, maybe it's just an in-between phase where these beams will be active. But not long after, I got to know that they will be an integral part of the second boss fight to increase the difficulty. Right, I will skip ahead to the point where the second Guardian has been defeated. I had an idea. I may be able to retrieve some resources from them since they are so huge and made of the solid material, but nope, not this time. Unless I am missing something yet again. Anyways, the Witch Queen decided to take matters into her hands and started a brawl with us. Brawl that I didn't expect to be easier than the pre-boss fight. Think about it, how many times have you expected the encounter with any significant enemy to be very tough, but instead you got a fight that was easier than anything prior to it? This would mark end of the Witch Queen and her reign over this place. Let's see what we can get as a reward for clashing with the Queen. So, we've got a mask of the Witch Queen, as well as the key to Razma's house, and from what I gathered, Razma is a significant character here in Conan Exiles. For those who don't know it yet, it is the lady you can see in the intro movie that Conan frees from the cross. And obviously, my inner rat didn't allow me to leave this place without having a look at possible loot boxes or anything else I could take with me, and I decided to try and take a seat on Witch's throne, only to find out that I have learned 4 different things, and these were Lemurian Pike, Lemurian Royal Armor, Lemurian Sword, and Lemurian Warrior Armor. I will definitely attempt to craft some of these things somewhere down the line. Anyways, it sounds like it's the right time to leave. Once we left from this place, we fought some more gorillas, and while pushing deeper into the jungle, I have noticed yet another corrupted Gray Ape. But the second one joined soon after. However, this was still not challenging enough for Aryan, as even though it was 2v1, it still wasn't fair for these apes. As for our next step of our journey, I have visited the Black Garden, which not only is inhabited by gorillas, but it's also encased in the noxious gas, which can deal a little bit of damage to your health. Still, this wasn't enough to keep me away from the central part of this garden, as this is the only place on Exiled lands where you can find Black Lotus, which can be used to craft Purple Lotus Orb, which works like a truncheon but in a gas form, and few potions like Breath of Dagon or Elixir of Vigor. Moving on to the next segment of our journey, I was located somewhere between M and N6 on the map, where I have noticed that tiny bridge upon the highly elevated part of this isle, where Forgotten City of Xel-Ha is placed. It took me a few longer moments to try and figure out how I could get up there, where I have just decided to climb up there and explore what hides so high up above the ground. At first, it seemed like there is not much in here to see. However, once I have emerged from behind this tree, I have noticed a familiar pinkish mist, and that could only mean one thing. An obelisk that we naturally have to attune our bracelet to, so we could potentially use it in the future. Job done. I have also discovered this ruin of something called Dagon's Eye. However, I didn't find anything of significance in here and just kept moving on. I have spotted this massive building dwarfing anything around it, and it naturally got my attention, so I have crossed that tiny bridge leading towards this towering monstrosity, and I have learned that this place is called Watcher of the Passage. By the name of this building, I am understanding that this is a crucial building, be it in lore or history of Xel-Ha. Is that right? Anyways, quick look at the surroundings. And off we go. Lastly, I have traveled by a place called A Light to Guide Them Home. And before I go, I have a question. Guide who exactly? Who called this place a home, and why there is a Watcher of the Passage? What was so important or dangerous it had to have a building raised just to keep an eye on it? Anyways, on that note, I would like to finish today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like or dislike accordingly. Drop a comment down below, or maybe subscribe. And if so, I shall see you in the next one. Deynon, out.